Hello and welcome to Tangents, the only show on the internet that has bad internet. That's all I've got. Have a great night, everybody. What's fantastic is everyone was really frozen there for a minute. I apologize this evening. The internet here in X Studios Cleveland is utter garbage today. Actually, for the past couple days, I've had to reboot my router multiple times, and I've contacted my internet provider, and they're a bunch of twat waffles.
Well, in my case, you are getting a good frame rate. It's that I'm animated at a cheap.
As well as audio-wise, too.
We couldn't afford the fully animatronic Christoph. He's only like slightly articulated. It's good.
Yeah, that's all I can do. This is terrible, and I apologize in advance, but that's okay because I think our bots that watch us are okay with it. And Hayes Anderson.
They're gonna.
So yeah, thank you all for joining us. Happy New Year. May your internet bandwidth be better than mine, and your Nestle Quick be forever covered in rabbit shit.
Mm-hmm.
The data must flow.
Indeed.
Strawberry Quick.
Nothing good about that. Christoph, how are you, my friend?
I am doing well.
Great.
So I've been doing keto, and I don't test positive for it, but I am losing weight. So go me. I know that worked for you. And so I'm definitely ready to become a
right.
I don't usually eat that much meat, and I'm still done with meat. But first, nobody cares. Second, I bought Pigments. Wonderful. And what I really like about Pigments is the arpeggiator sequence thing, where it does random generation for you in chord. So it's fascinating, and I don't really think I have much that has that level of complexity to it, because I don't have anything like a Squirrel. So that's what's new with me.
Congratulations.
Now I can be more cool.
Can
like
anybody
Justin.
really be cool like Justin? I think Justin's in his own field of cool.
I just said closer to. I'll never reach Justin.
I don't know about that. I got to blast out. We're doing staring at my phone. Staring at my phone.
That's okay, because everyone's frozen on their video again. So that's cool.
Yeah. Well, at least I'm doing
You are.
excellent.
You totally are. It's just very weird. So I need to restart Skype. So you guys are gonna disappear for a second. While that's happening, I'm gonna keep on talking. My week has been just great. Thank you so much for asking. My couple weeks have been just great. Thanks. I don't even know what I'm talking about. This is better than college radio, but at least there's no dead zones. And everyone's back in here, at least temporarily for a few minutes. Now everyone has a different frozen face, which is fantastic. I'm just going to do this all night.
That's good.
Dear God, this
This is
is
gonna be great. Yeah.
this is fucking terrible.
We could do the exact opposite of the Macklemore song.
I know, right?
This is fucking terrible.
I can see, I can see everybody but you, Andrew. You're frozen now.
I'm frozen now. Great. That's weird because I'm
Yeah.
on here I'm moving just fine.
Well, then maybe it's Skype.
I think it might be Skype. What's the video look like on yeah, I'm moving fine on the live shot as well.
There you go. You're fine now.
Okay, well thank you. You guys are all still frozen.
It's trying to readjust your resolution or something because it keeps popping back.
Oh yeah, you guys are all frozen completely right now. So that's cool. I wonder if I can fix that. I fucking hate this thing.
All right. No, I just reported Skype.
That's good. Tell them that they're garbage and their product is garbage. I guess the only thing to do is you just all have to start coming over every 2 weeks.
Excellent.
That's the only way.
We'll hop on the private jet, right?
Yes, I'll fly out the. I'll have Manuel come out there, our Cyclops assistants, and he'll come pick you up.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I don't know what to do about this. This is just garbage. This makes
I was about to close these short. I'm extremely embarrassed about it. So.
That would be something to be embarrassed about.
Yeah. Well, my kid used to watch that show. It was freaking awful.
I like that you're blaming it on your kid. You used to watch the show. Just
Oh, come on. Yeah, I just wanted to watch the situation.
Oh yeah.
Isn't the main reason kids you can blame stuff on them?
That's true.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I mean, that's what I've learned.
The great part is that kids will then go to their therapist and blame you for everything. So it's a two-way street.
That's true.
No, but there's a lot of it.
I have my own kids. I can just grab one out of the park and do the same thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think probably laws against that.
The good news is everyone's moving again.
Too, you know?
Yeah, my daughter just watches terrible TV sometimes. And sometimes she purposely torture me. Like she used to watch the show called Caillou.
Oh God, Caillou.
Which is just insufferably horrible if you're a parent trying to watch kid shows. And she knew that I hated it, so she would watch it and just laugh while I squirmed in misery.
It's Caillou's work.
Yeah, well, apple doesn't fall far from the tree, I guess.
Yeah, fair enough. Speaking of falling from the tree, Jeff, how are you?
Other than the fall from the tree, I'm doing okay.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I bought a desk. I don't know if it's kind of maybe, I don't know what's visible. There's a desk. There's a company called Wavebone, and they got me with their advertising, and they make this desk called the Headquarters. Very nice desk. I can attest. I've built it, and it weighs probably a little over 200 pounds. It's like steel and solid wood. This is a very nice desk. And it has 3 3U rack bays on the desktop. And rack bays, of course, have rails that you mount. Very helpfully, one of the supports that you mount rails to had the holes drilled like basically backwards on it. So I can't mount on that one, rendering 2 of the rack bays useless. So now I'm engaged in a back and forth with the good people at Wavebone trying to get this repaired. So I don't want to move all of the shit that I have on this desk into that desk so that I can then have to move it back off to change out the one very small piece of metal on it that requires me to take everything off of the desk. So it's sitting over there eating up 2/3 of my room right now. It's awesome.
This thing is awesome. I'm checking this out right now.
Nice.
Is that bottom keyboard bench? Is that fully removable? Looks like
Someone post the link.
I don't know. Can we see it? I don't know. There we go. Now we can see it. Now we can see it. Now we can see it. This Z stand is the keyboard. It's turned upside down. I wanted there, and then I got one there, and then I got the thin rack, which that's obfuscated by the cat scratching post. But it's a
Here's the desk we can't really see.
Really well made. Yeah, you can't see it. Soon you'll have a computer on it. And
I put it in Skype, Christoph.
Thank you.
it's super well made and really, really pretty, and just got the holes in the wrong place. So, I mean, like, I don't know. We'll see.
That sound dirty if I said it.
I know, right?
Yeah, it does
Do you
sound-
know, is that the Star Rover or is that the headquarter, or which desk is it?
It's the headquarter. I bought the Big Map Jam. I got the headquarter. I got the 88 keyboard stand,
There
and I
you
bought the
go.
fin
So
rack.
I'm
too.
putting this up on the folks at home. Want to take a look at the headquarter?
What is next? Do they have?
Yeah.
Do they have?
It does look very nice.
This is just a prince among desks, man. The only question I guess is like my current setup has an independent keyboard tray.
Yep.
I guess you could just put it in the center on the top row since you have a keyboard rack underneath.
As long as the
Yeah.
keyboard can still fit on that keyboard rack.
Yeah. And the
Yeah.
keyboard, it holds 99% of keyboards, and it's high adjustable keyboard rack. So I bought that and I built it, and it was actually not hard to build at all. It only took like an hour to build all of it, which
So
is really good.
You'll
yeah,
need
so
some
on
better
a
ones
1
that
to
works.
10 ratio with IKEA furniture, like where we have this.
Yeah, and so the top is like, it's actually wood. It's built like butcher block,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
and it's really thick. It's like probably a little over an inch thick, and
Is the desk itself on wheels or not?
no, it's on leveling casters, not
I see.
it's on leveling feet.
Oh, that's very handy. Yeah, especially an old apartment like where I live.
So they have those. They're still on sale. Bought one of those. I bought the wood one. It looks really good. I was reticent at first, but then I got it, and I'm really happy with it. And if they
Nice.
don't fix this, like, it's very easy for me to fix. Like, I can drill holes in things.
Sure.
I just don't want to.
Right.
Well, it's real wood, so you can. It's not like particle board, right?
Well, no, this is in metal. So
Yeah,
this
so
is like
the-
through steel. It's like a 316L 14 gauge steel or something.
Oh, I see.
But What?
Oh, so it's not actual wood anymore?
no. So the
The frame is metal, but the panels are wood.
holes are in the
Yeah.
wrong place on the frame.
Yep.
Yep, that's what's going on. So the frame is stainless steel. It's nice.
Yes.
I don't know that's going on. And then I listed a bunch of shit up on Reverb and eBay, and some dude bought a pedal from me, and I think he screwed it up. And he's like, it doesn't work. I'm like, it's not returnable. He's like, well, it doesn't work. I'm like, I don't think you know how to use a delay pedal, but it seems like he doesn't know how to use a delay pedal. I don't know what's going on. But he wants to return it, and I'm mad.
That's irritating.
That's what's going on. I don't know. Yeah. I did have a fun adventure. We don't have a lot of news, so I'm going to tell you all about my adventure. I have been thinking about if there's, so I have this Akai S5000. I really like the Akai S5000 on many, 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 many fronts. There are some things that I don't love about it, but by and large, it's like very good. But I also have this Korg Op6 sitting, well, I guess it's not visible. It's where is there. And I do like the way it sounds, and I do like the interface on it. It has the stupidest keyboard, which is the wrong number of keys. It has a 37-key keyboard. Sorry to anybody who likes 37-key keyboards. You're wrong. They're bad. And it has plastic that feels like it was like somebody at McDonald's was like testing Happy Meal toys, and they're like, this plastic is not good enough for a Happy Meal toy.
Let's send it to
We'll
Korg.
take it. Yeah, we'll take it. So I've been looking at synthesizers that would be good replacements for an FM synthesizer. That's kind of what I was looking at. I was like, can I change this thing? I just don't enjoy touching it. And if I don't like touching a synthesizer, I don't like playing it. So I was looking at some workstations, and I was super interested in the Yamaha Montage and Modi X. And then I was like, oh, well, what about sampling? Could I combine these two? And so anyway, through this long chain of events, I became interested in the Korg Nautilus, which is an absolute like banger on paper. It can do DX7 style synthesis, like even reading the DX7 patches. It has a physical modeling synthesizer in it. It has the Op6 in it. It has the wave state and the mod wave in it as well. So it's basically like all four digital synths right now. It's also got Poly 6 in it, or a Poly 6 emulator in it, and an MS-20 later in it, and then it's got a whole bunch of other stuff. and a sampler in it that is like a crazy good sampler, and also the sampler can read Akai S1000 and S3000 and patches and edit and save them. Like,
Nice.
this is a crazy cool workstation, and the price is not bad on it. And so I decided to go up to Chuck Levins to see if I wanted to buy one. And what I was hoping for was that all of these instruments were kind of handled inside it like a series of VSTs. And you'd be like, do you want to play the Poly 6 now? And okay, like I'll bring in the Poly 6 and like layer and stack and split the voices. But no, it does not do that. It's very weird. The interface was very strange, even by sort of like workstation strange standards to me. It sort of has you basically have like 16 layers and all these oscillators, and I was there with it for like 30 minutes playing with it. So I don't know. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I did it wrong. I don't know. Maybe somebody can correct me and I'll change mine.
It's funny, Jeff, because I look at workstations kind of like as I careen into my lane. It's like when you start looking. I started visualizing years ago, and what's next? What's next? Start working
You're becoming your grandparents.
Yeah, this is your grandparents' workstation.
I didn't ride a mule out there or something. I don't know, but anyway, it handles it really weirdly. It sounds super good. It feels really good, and people complained about the touchscreen on it, and I think they're goofy and wrong. Like, too, like the touchscreen was fine. It's not a great touchscreen. It's not the best touchscreen that I've ever used. Like, it's not like a phone or something, but it was fine.
It's not super knobby though, man. Look at how much real estate.
It's not. But the interface is on a lot of fronts, but it's got this really weird implementation where it doesn't handle things like their VSTs inside it. Like, it doesn't treat them as separate instruments or something. So it treats everything like this stacked thing. And if you go into it and you're like, hey, I want to play the OP6, you just tell it you want an OP6 or an OP6 oscillator. And it builds this like weird, I don't know. So I quickly did not think that it was for me. But I played some other stuff there too, and that was cool. And then I came home.
That was a fun adventure.
It was a good adventure. I had some pho, which was good.
That's nothing wrong with pho.
Nice.
That was part of the adventure. I drove in a car, and there were people there. My wife came, and so it was good. That was my adventure.
Cool.
That's that. There's my life.
Now you're making me want pho and macaroons and bubble
And
tea.
a workstation. And your link.
And I can, and some mocha. Eat mocha. Yeah, I can't have any of those things right now, but yeah.
Why can't you have any of those
So
right
the
now?
only two workstations I've had good experiences with were very long time ago the Korg 01 WFD and the Kurzweils, the K2000 and 2500.
Oh yeah.
And Jeff discovered that the 2700 is probably a train wreck to be avoided. And I did some research on it, and it's missing some key functions from the 2500 and the 2600. Like, there's no wave editor for editing your trim points.
Yeah.
And it can't sample, which was one of the things that made the 2500 and 2600 so amazing, is that they were arguably the best samplers ever made. So on the 2700, you can load samples into it, but you can't sample with it. And if you're DAW-less, which is kind of the point to getting a workstation, that's kind of a key function to leave out.
Yeah, that's like a big oversight. I mean, considering that the other one did it.
Yeah, so what it really is that the K2700 is really, it should be called the Kurzweil PC5, because it's really an extension of the PC4, which also supports VAST and is, in some ways quite evolved from the K2600, but it's not really the true, what the next Kurzweil K2000 series should be.
Right.
And apparently there's quality control issues to the point where the salesperson at Jeff's store told someone not to buy it.
Jeez.
Because it was just going to get returned. And I will say my biggest is I do not view them as roadworthy. Yeah. I had to send mine back for a factory rebuild, my K2VX, and I worry about transporting them. They're fragile. The electronics are fragile as well. At the time, it was arguably the most powerful synth ever made, and it's still an unrecognized classic for what it is. But I gotta say, I'm not I never sequenced the whole song using id sequencer. That's not really what it's for. It's more like a sketch pad, and you drag it over to your DAW to do the real work. Has anybody here had a good experience with a DAW? I mean, with a workstation.
Well, I used to do a lot of stuff on an M1, and that was
If you consider the EPS 16 Plus, the ASR 10 workstations, because I use them that way. I mean, they were samplers, but I used them. I used the sequencer extensively, and for MIDI controls.
Yeah, I don't know if they're workstations. I guess you could classify it. If so, then I've got a lot of experience with the ASR 10, which I loved.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love those things. And they used to just drive everything that I did. A lot of people kvetched about the sequencer. I like them, mostly because I did mostly real-time playing and then going in and just sort of shifting things around. I mean, if you were trying to do everything in the sequencer, with the little clickety-clicks, you'd probably hate it for sure, but nothing a little play live and quantize won't fix, in my opinion.
I would call the new MPC by Akai, I would not call them samplers. I would call them workstations. I think like MPC Live 1 and X are absolutely not samplers. Yeah. I mean,
they dropped the box on a key bed and called it a workstation.
they are for sure workstations. Yeah. Some of them are based and some of them are keyboard based, but that's what they are. And I think they're very good.
I would agree on that totally. Yeah, Christoph on Synthtopia the other day, they posted a whole thing of about the K2000. There's a video, some guy kind of going through it and talking about how it is kind of like the modern classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy Dr. Mix just did a video about it too.
Probably.
Yeah, I did see that, but I haven't had a chance to watch it. Because it wasn't put up by the big three. It kind of gets ignored when everybody's talking about the great synths of all time. Yeah. But I think it really deserves it, especially when you look at synth history.
Oh yeah, I agree.
And you look at the sort of gaping hole of quality synths that were happening in the late '80s, early '90s. Yeah. K2000 was just fucking stunning, right?
Yeah.
Yep, because it had dilation. Only modulation that you could really compare it to would be the Matrix 12.
Right.
And yet it was also a sampler. And I mean, it was it was before the Nord modular. And it didn't require a software editor that would later get discontinued. So it's really the first, virtual modular.
Agree. Did you throw something away just now, Jeff?
Did.
Did you just empty your trash, Dave? Did you just copy something?
No, I can't. No.
No.
I moved it.
Yeah.
Jeff's being
so pedantic. Speaking of squirrels, Justin, what's new in your world?
Things, stuff. I've been working on getting my speakers and my audio set up and my soundproofing in this room to a good enough point where I can mix without wanting to shoot myself in the face. I've gotten there, which is good. Working on some random music stuff.
Cool.
Can't seem to stop moving. Working on a few projects, and I bought a keyboard, which is bad.
Yeah, what'd you get there? What'd you get, buddy?
So I got the Oberheim OBX8. Fucking lunatic. And I will say this.
How's your kidney scar healing up from that?
It's going well. I probably only have to give plasma for another 10 years and I should be able to pay it off. I'm selling a bunch of shit. You're about ready to see a cavalcade of my reverb store. I just realized that it can do. It's almost a desert island synth for me at this point. It is absolutely fucking gorgeous. And if that's the sound you want, look no further.
Yeah.
And it was the sound I wanted, and I'm very, very pleased. I do feel though it's a little Fred Flintstone. I feel like the controls are a little big unnecessarily. But
I got one of those too.
Yeah, it's okay though. I mean, it's fine. But yeah, no, I think long run's a good investment. I'm literally going to be selling three large polys to that.
Which one?
Well, I'm definitely selling my Prophet 600. I'm definitely selling the Prologue, and I might be selling my Juno 106.
Already? You just got that thing.
Yeah, I know, man, and I like it, but it's spending more time in the shop than it is in my studio, and I'm just not that committed to it, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I think that's a problem with the, like, especially older tech and stuff like that. It just doesn't have, like, the reliability just isn't there, and you end up having to replace half of it in order to use it. It's just not fun anymore. Unless your thing is fixing
Agreed.
the synths, unless that's your kink.
yeah, I mean, I most of the stuff that I have that's vintage isn't like super
Right.
expensive. It's not like I own a Jupiter 8 or something. But yeah, and people have really elevated prices right now.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. But it's also like a lot of people have sunk prices. It really depends on what you're looking for, I guess. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. My Prava 600 is getting a checkup before I sell it and I'm not even going to ship it. I'm doing
that's probably
local
the best.
pickup because that thing is so fiddly, man. I wouldn't drop it in a room full of pillows. You know what I mean? Without something going on.
Well, congratulations on your new
Yeah.
purchase.
So how about
What
you,
am I
man?
up to? I haven't gotten anything new. Oh wait, no, I did get a telegraph insulator.
Well, that's fucking awesome.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah. So if you're familiar with back in the old days when they were running telegraphs along train lines, they would have to insulate the wire from the rest of the pole, and so they would wrap the wire around these things. So
Right.
It's a telegraph insulator.
Is that
Yep. Yeah, it's glass.
Is that made of glass?
No, not to be used as a butt plug.
That's very cool.
Sorry,
Oh, just
Chris.
try hard.
It's maybe a little too voluminous for my taste.
Yeah,
but
well,
fair enough.
anything will fit with enough breathing and lube. Yeah, so there's that. Someone had given me a Mac Pro that is like 80 times as souped up as the current studio machine, so that's now in place as my new studio box. So
Nice.
that's exciting. So it's another trash can Mac Pro.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I know that they're now, those aren't really supported much anymore, but whatever. This one is a 12 core E5 with 128 gigs of RAM.
Jeez.
Is that one of those cylinder?
Yeah, it's the
ones?
trash can. Or the smokeless
Oh, yeah, those
ashtray,
things are gorgeous.
or like, what else can we call these? The bank deposit tube. Well,
Yeah, they're beautiful.
well, Christoph,
the future of pneumatic tubes.
I got my
man.
old one right here.
Oh, I'll buy it.
All right, we'll talk.
I'll buy that for $1.
It needs a drive. It needs a hard drive, but I mean, you can get the solid state drives in those things for about like $95, depending how big you want it. Then you'll have a Mac.
Yeah,
Then we will.
running Linux.
Then we won't have much. And then you can actually run real software.
Actually, that would be neat.
Yes. If you're a good boy, I can maybe even get you my NFR copy of Logic, because I do have that.
Because you were.
Because I have that.
Yeah, I have not used Logic.
Well, you get Alchemy.
Yeah.
You get Alchemy with it.
What?
Yeah, the only way you can get it at this point. Anyway. So yeah, otherwise, music gear wise, I was thinking about, I'm like, I should really invest in something, and I kept on thinking about it. I'm like, I don't really want anything right now. Yeah, I don't need. I'm feeling pretty good about what I have here.
That's good to be in that sort of Satori / Nirvana state.
Yeah, everything's nice this week. I mean, Electron might come out with something next week, and then that'll just change everything. And I'm like, oh shit, gotta buy that because it's got an Electron label. Unless it's a model, in which case, fuck that thing.
Did you see the bad gear about that one?
Yeah,
It was good.
yeah. The Christmas episode of Bad Gear was amazing.
The Behringer one?
Yeah, with Santa Gaz.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah, I finally watched it last night.
What's funny is I love that the bag gear guy sometimes, like, it's like he's not just reviewing bad gear. He's reviewing gear that people complain about or is controversial, right?
Yeah.
So like he did a review of the Yamaha DX100, which is the little one, and at the end of it, he was basically like, "This thing's fucking awesome. Fuck all you haters," you know. And I was like, "Hell yeah, that's awesome."
Yeah, I think that's just. I mean, granted, I mean he makes everything sound good. So he's just a very talented, synthesist and a musician, and I think that's very helpful.
And Alex team up, it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
If him and Alex a couple of videos.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just think he's just it's funny because you see like those really talented YouTube people, and then you realize it's like, well, that's what's really making that sound good is the fact that he really knows what the fuck he's doing with that piece of gear. So.
True.
And that's the upside of not buying something new all the time.
Yeah.
And I know that I don't need any new gear. I really have everything I could possibly need. And I just watched a live stream from a musician where it's in Serum, and that's basically it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's using like simpler, and he's doing amazing work. So we don't need all this stuff. It's like, and don't get me wrong, there's stuff that I want. Like I want an Access Pirates, and I know when the Banger 7 comes out, I'm gonna get one, but I don't need it. And the problem is with new gears, then to get good with it, you got to put the time into mastering it, and that's time that you're not being creative. True. So it's good that you went 2 weeks without getting anything new.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I'm trying to think. I don't think I've bought anything new. I think the last piece of new gear I got was probably the Memphis, which was way back in September.
The Syntax, which came later.
The Memphis came later.
Okay.
Yeah, because the Syntax I bought like pretty much when it came out.
I just don't remember.
I understand.
Yeah, the sort of feng shui and the sort of work environment is more important maybe than what you have.
Yeah.
And I know you're always, I sort of, tease you about rearranging the studio every 2 months, but like, there's a reason for it, and your needs and your projects change, and, since I mounted the Waldorf M in the rack mount, I'm like using it to write patches now, basically dorking with the presets because I'd have to stand up, on my top row and use it, and it was fiddly at best. Simple things like that, or like what you can reach or how. So I've spent a lot of time the last year just trying to make sure things were comfy for me to use, because otherwise you're just a fucking synth collector. You know what I mean?
And that's kind of what I feel like I'm kind of going through right now, because it's like I have this, my studio desk is not as nice as Jeff's new studio desk. But it's I think it's like 300 pounds or something like that. It just weighs a fuck.
Dude, I love your
ton.
Desk. Your desk is awesome.
It's got a lot of space.
I'm good on.
It's a great desk, and I'm not saying it to nib it. But the problem is that it's like 9 feet long. And so
did you
no actually
how the fuck did you
Jason Notek built it.
But I mean, did you build it in situ? Like, how the fuck did you get it down the stairs?
It was just it came in pieces, and I just put it back together. I just tried my best to remember of how it looked, and I think I did all right. It's it works. Yeah, I think it's fine. But like the thing is, since it's 9 feet long, when I'm sitting here, like I can't put anything closer to me. Like there's no. My gear's way over there, and so that's the thing that kind of bugs me is just like, how do I use how can I sit there and like program stuff? I have to like, go over there and stand around, which I don't mind doing that kind of thing, but it gets tiring after a little while. But I try to do things like I have a second set of speakers over there where the synths are, and I have another screen so I can move like my DAW over there if I need to, and that kind of stuff. So I have the ability to do this kind of thing. It's just, I'm just really fucking lazy, I guess. I don't know. I just want everything
There's a guy, A guy named Jim Daniker, he's a Nashville-based keyboardist. He recently reviewed his studio. It's very interesting. Kind of has similar setup to I am now, which is a little difficult. It works for me, but he did something interesting, just like that. He basically was like, keyboard stand more than 2 tiers, and I will put independent monitors for each. You know what I mean? Like so that I can mess around with them and after watching a lot of like down switches like way upstairs.
Yeah.
So I've been some of this too. There's a lot positive to be said about jazz racks. I used to have two of them. The ones they're quite large though. And then I started looking. I'll drop it over here in the. But I started looking at these things that Gator makes, and I was like, oh, this actually like there's something to this. But there's a link to it, and then I started reading reviews of it and like chasing it down, and the I don't know, it seems like the quality wasn't super good on those, so I ordered. There's a company called hairpinlegs.com that I've ordered from in the past. Mm-hmm. I really like them. Anybody wants to staple any legs on anything, if you want to do it with no work, Floyd Detroit makes a thing called Floyd Leg. It's also, so I ordered some hairpin legs, enough to build two things like this, and I'm gonna build, I think, two sort of narrow Descamajigs like this, but I think I'm gonna make them 3-tier because I've got a bunch of walnuts sitting up in my wood shop to turn into something, so I think I'm going to build them out of walnut and do the stainless steel legs, and then I bought these 2-tier cable trays to go under them. But that's where I've been focused right now. Like the only thing that I think I actually want is a vocoder.
There you go.
Nice.
I got enough things that do make vocoders here, so I'm good with that. But yeah, it's like I got a bunch of those like KVR things for all my Electrons gear, and that's really nice because I can sit here and everything's within like arm's distance, and I can, program a noodle and have a blast back there, and it's like my little party zone. But like, in the meantime, my Prophet's over there, my Peak's over there, and my Hydrocynth's over there, and they're all just kind of sad and being depressed right now, and I want to give them some love too. So, and then
it's a small task. I mean, that's the thing is, you go for this. I have no choice because I'm in a tiny fucking room,
right?
But like. Yeah, I see what you're saying about the desk.
I'm too spread out, it feels like, and I think that can be. Yeah, I don't need that. Yeah, I'm not gonna. Thank you. But yeah, yeah, whatever.
You know those things that you extend your arms to lift things on shelves?
It's not that big.
No.
Yeah, it looks bigger for some reason in the pictures.
It's not that large.
Yeah. Yeah, this thing's huge. Anarchy and Bedrock asks if we were doing the January thing, were you to post some of those that you're working on to share. I'm not doing the January thing. I'm holding off until RPM Challenge next month to start diving in hardcore and working on music. Is anybody else doing January? That makes sense. Sure. Mm-hmm. Mm. Disenjoy. Yeah, it's weird. Like I'm like, as of right now, I'm just kind of like, all right, here comes RPM. I guess I'll do it again. But I'm not really like jumping at the bit. I'm just not. I mean, I'm just kind of like an ebb with creativity at the moment, and maybe that's a thing. I don't know. Hayes Anderson says, I am doing January. I'm spending 3 days in a row on 10 synths. So far, I have done the Delta CEPA, the Mega FM, and the Trugatronic Bog Hog. I'm now on the Subharmonicon. That's awesome, dude. Yeah. Those are some fun synths. I love it. I think it's weird and fun.
Yeah, I still don't understand the Subharmonicon, and I've read so much about it, and Jeff has explained it to me, and
it's just polyrhythms. Mm-hmm. You can also pay the extra money and get those really teeny tiny knobs, and you'll have enough for at least one of the pieces of gear, but not two. Oh, they're usually pretty good at answering. Maybe they are on holiday or something like that. Well, it's, you know.
Maybe we should have answered a Moog on tangents.
Right?
Hayes Anderson. So Hayes Anderson, with all these January things that you've been doing, could you share them to one of us in a whisper so we can repost it in the chat? Yeah, because if you post it, it probably won't
actually,
go.
Hayes, is it just on your Twitch, or do you have it up on YouTube? Hey, J-Rod, welcome.
Oh yeah. If it's on Twitch, that's easy enough.
Yeah, and if it's on YouTube, then just whisper any of us, but obviously not X Studio Chicago because he's not on here because he's a big poo-poo head.
Okay. Yeah. So send it to one of us in a whisper, not Justin, so that we can repost it in the chat. And Andrew, you mentioned that you're chomping at the bit, and speaking of bits,
look at you. You did. Good job. Good job. That's correct. The PicoSynth is what it is called. And this is an exciting Linux, Mac, and Windows plugin. Your opponent, welcome. And this thing is just a lot of fun. It looks like it was designed by Sierra Online in 1987. I think Roger Wilco plays it in a scene in Space Quest. And it's just like this little simple loop and beat generator, and you can plug in. There's each different modules in a way, and make some disco on it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool.
And it's name your own price, with the default of $5. Which is lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. I get a lot of Commodore games on itch.io. People are still writing games. Which is hilarious. But I've noticed, the thing I posted on Quasar Beach is that itch is not just for games. It's for all kinds of weird apps. It's for all kinds of weird apps. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, so this is fun. This is a neat little thing. A second here. Who's playing the hand drums right now? Yeah, there we go.
I can probably see Womber using this too.
Yeah, I could see that totally.
It's the closest I'll ever get to modular.
Yeah, it's minimum or default price of $5 on a pay your own price model. You can dump stuff into WAV files, import them into whatever. You can save files in easy-to-read text format, which I don't. Okay, I don't know what the hell that means, but hey. But yeah, the YouTube video is great. This is cool. And like I said, $5. Go get it.
Hooray!
Yay, Disco.
So another thing that came out that's name your own price.
What's that?
And it's a Fairlight 2 clone from Kazar Beach.
You're kidding me.
It looks like the workflow is more authentic than the Arturia workflow, which is both good and bad. Because the Arturia workflow is simplified in a way that you want to be simplified. Because on the original Fairlight, for example, you don't put in like your BPM is 125, you put it in as like 4,200.
Right.
And it really required manuals this thick to get to really understand that unit. Revolting talks in the Wax Tracks movie talk about how the first album is very simple because they can figure out how to program one sequence, just like one pattern, but they couldn't figure out how to change patterns, using the song chain editor. So because in a lot of studios there was a dedicated Fairlight engineer. The program that,
can you imagine that poor schmo and when the DAW came out and he's just like, I guess I'll pack my bags and leave.
I think that album was the one because that album was the one. I could be wrong about this, Christoph, but I think Jorgensen got that Fairlight. Like somehow he got it. He's part of some deal with the record label.
And that's exactly it. He demanded one to be signed.
Yeah, and then those guys showed up from Holland or whatever, and were like, "Let's rock," or Belgium, sorry.
Yeah, Belgium.
They were like, "That's a pretty cool." I mean, imagine that piece of kit, like in the mid to late '80s, you'd be like,
it comes in a box the size of a pallet, and it came with a bottle of champagne and plastic champagne glass.
Yep.
To celebrate your huge purchase, because at the time it cost the same as a condominium.
Right.
Yeah, so just application is an insane labor of love. It is an absolute replication of even an absolute replication or even horrible. Like this is not like some better cool version of the Fairlight. This is 100% creation of it. 100% creation of it. Glitches and horror and everything.
That's exactly what makes me because there were people that absolutely love Page R, and it was their favorite sequencer ever. And so I'd love to be able to play around with it and see what was it that they liked about it so much, besides the fact that this was really the only way to go at the time.
Right.
I mean, there were other ways, but nothing integrated like this. The Fairlight's arguably the first real workstation.
Yeah. Lots of people used it just as a playback device or as a complex sampler. Yeah. But the people that used the Page R, it introduced I don't want to use the I word. But the ability to sequence in a certain way made that jump possible, right?
Dance Industrial for sure.
Yeah, Dance Industrial. It just to me some of the early uses of it that I really liked. I remember that TV show in the 80s called The Equalizer, and Stuart Copeland did the music for it, and the whole intro tune was done on the Fairlight, and you can just tell that that's Page R. It's just merciless sort of sequencing. It's just it's
like
awesome.
That perfect quantization. Yeah. It's been argued that one of the reasons why it was because Copeland had the Fairlight, Sting had the Synclavier, and they would argue about which one they were going to use.
That sounds like a good problem.
Yeah. Well, they were, I think the number one band of the time.
Yeah. That's so insane.
They had the money.
It's a good bit of kit. It's a good ROM.
Yeah. It looks really, it looks beautiful. Especially if you want a retro look. I mean, it looks like something.
Yeah, it's legit. I love Arturia.
Yeah, I like Arturia because the sample library, and because it's simple. Yeah. I don't need an engineer's manual to use it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a box you're in for. There's some things that I really do like the technical side of music. It's just it's a rabbit hole I just don't have time to go down all the time if I'm going to continue to be creative.
Yeah, and this is one of those rabbit holes, but there are old Fairlight users who might really love this. But also, if you've ever been interested in one and you don't want to, devote the resources into, playing, getting one, because it's unreliable. It's huge. So yeah, you don't do the upkeep on one of these things with.
Yeah, there's that guy in the UK, Failed Muso, who does a lot of. He does the Pro Synth Network. He's Rob, remember his last name, but yeah, he's implemental in getting a lot of these things fixed up, which is pretty cool. And there are some random YouTubers and there's a guy in Australia, I think, who put one together, but it's like, I think Vogel, they recreated Fairlight for like a hot minute, and they released a few ones, because I know Thomas Dolby.
They did.
Thomas Dolby bought one like immediately.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think they put out one for iPad, but
they did. It was the same guys.
Yeah, it's the same folks, and I was kind of hoping that they would take it to that next level and make it a plugin, but they never did.
But yeah, they did re-release the Fairlight for a hot minute, but I don't know how long it was available.
Well, they were selling
the hardware one.
Yeah, they were selling them.
It was tremendously expensive, wasn't it? Still like $100,000.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
So I don't know. I mean, Trevor Horn could afford one, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
Well, they sold it to mostly
Peter Gabriel, maybe.
Yeah, wealthy artists who really like the Fairlight had experience with it. I mean, of which there are really only a handful at this point, right?
Yeah, but like their website doesn't even work anymore.
They're gone.
Yeah, long gone.
Rip.
They could have done like what the Synclavier folks are doing and release something smaller or something more modest. I mean, what these companies don't get is how much people like myself like the nostalgia of old gear. Like, to your point, Christoph, if they made something that looked like this but was actually user friendly, I would be all over that shit. And like make it just affordable enough so it's not that big a deal, and you could shift a ton of those. I just don't understand where they're going long for these like, $100,000 long passes. Who the hell is going to buy that? Like, it's insane.
Well, this is nice because you can name your own price, and you can download it for like a penny if you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, go watch some YouTube videos. They're brilliant.
Just on their website's just fantastic because it's so like it just has all that crazy shit all over it, and they did a great job. And they faithfully recreated everything that you love and hate about a Fairlight.
Yep.
Yes.
Except for the palette. Pointed out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bring BYOC and glass.
This way you can choose your own bottle of champagne, pretend you're having a party, and just get hammered.
Did they ship champagne all the way from Australia? That seems like the really
finest Australian champagne.
It was probably recent. Like they probably shipped them here, and then there was a distributor here that probably took care of it.
Although I like the idea of it just like rattling around inside the pallet, just like smacking up against the thing, and just like people have half of them it popped open all over the Fairlight. And... Yes.
Sensible.
Yes.
Very sensible.
Nothing but sense.
The Native Instruments HIFA.
Hip hop.
You mean speaking of free?
No, it comes with champagne. Did you not hear?
Oh yes.
Oh, I did know that.
Yeah, it comes with champagne as long as you bring your own champagne.
Yes.
To drink down.
Absolutely.
That's how.
Yes, the HIFA, Hua.
Hip hop.
Yes. That will allow you to reignite.
Is, musicians with plants.
Yeah, right. This is if you can't get enough of the succulents, and I know I can't.
You're so right, stuff.
I've had enough of the succulents. Moving on.
Who made the comment? Oh, that was you, Christoph. The Synths for Plants crowd. This is made by the people that want to build an entire synth out of wood crowd. Like I can't.
Look, I love wood. Wood is great. Making things with wood, but
I know, right?
You wouldn't build a synth out of wood. It's called a xylophone, right?
Yeah, well, how much of your synths have wood on it? I see a Prophet 5 out there that's got a lot of wood. Sun.
Yeah. That's just window dressing,
If you replaced it with metal, it wouldn't sound as good.
There are people that are way out there that make like their own rocks cascading on glass plates and stuff. It's just.
Oh, I know.
Something right about.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's more like go down to the freaking boneyard and find some metal and bang on it. I'm down for that. Sure.
Because when they perform Woost live, they have slide, which is for sanding
all day.
Yeah.
I was just talking. We were just talking, Jody, the other day. We were doing that, like, you know, back in the 90s. It was like, you know, who do you like better, Oasis or Blur? You know, and like we were like, okay, who's better, like Throbbing Gristle?
Neubauten or Test Department better? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was a tough one, you know, because we were like, you know, I love this shit, and started a whole conversation. Yeah.
Who do you prefer, Psychic TV or Crash Worship? Answer in the comments.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, the Haifa will apparently, according to Native Instruments, the arbiters of all that is wise, will reignite your creative spark with 156 carefully curated presets of blossoming acoustic electric hybrids, all inspired by nature and designed to keep you creating well into the new year.
It's like hipster Viagra for freaking
they are
yoga
high
hippies
as
or something.
Fuck.
I don't know what's up.
Seriously.
Yeah, dude.
It's like I got into electronic music to get away from nature.
Right? Oh my god.
So I'm what you call indoorsy. So it's not. I'm allergic to everything outside. It's just open the window. Oh, now
I love being close to the kitchen. So yeah, it's free. Yeah. You can download it. You know, install it. Until January 16th, you can also take advantage of everything else that's on this page as well, besides the mold, the moss growing over your fake synthesizer. You can also save $25 on any software. You can get 50% off of Isotope. You can download the histamine for free.
The gorgeous, like, mindful ASMR binaural music that's going to come out of this.
I love listening to your ASMR.
If you have a Native Instruments account, even if it doesn't appeal to you, go add it to your account so that, you know, 2 years from now, if you decide you want it, you won't have to pay for it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, there's another one.
So
it's gorgeous, actually. You posted it further down, Christoph. We'll probably get to it.
Yes.
Okay.
We will.
We can get, and it's a synthesizer. It's got stuff. It does things. It doesn't have any plants.
Yep, it's true.
I like that.
That's true.
Good.
This is the Traction Corporation cult.
Ooh.
No.
Doesn't sound anything like plants.
It sounds like electrons
like
scratching through your brains.
Yeah. It sounds like dying in space is what it sounds like, and I love it.
It's fantastic. $65 until the end of the month. This thing is just kind of a weird, like, I don't know. Weird.
It's high concept.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
It's definitely high concept. I give them that.
Yeah, it's like a chaos theory synthesizer. So all you noisemakers out there. There's 30 oscillator models to choose from. The thing has 2 oscillators that you can run at the same time. And they call them strange attractors. And yeah, you can make them sound all kinds of weird and crazy. You got a complex filter selection, format filter, 2x combo filters, and 2 analog filters.
Look, Jeff Goldblum might show up and start like petting your
and saying
other's hand.
That we could, is it that we should make these things, these weird ass synthesizers.
Yeah, talk how the water falls down because the hairs are different.
Did you notice he points weird? Like he points with his finger, kind of like that. Like I'm trying to like do how he like.
It looks like you're pointing. I don't know. I can't see what's going on.
Like I'm trying to show you. It's like his fingers are all like weird when he points. Like they don't like, you know. It's almost like Jeff Goldblum.
Who?
Watch how he points. I don't know if it's just like
yeah.
I know. I don't know if he's like arthritic
or
if he's got like you know, maybe he's got like Benedictine hand or something like that. I don't know.
I don't know.
What is?
I was just saying the grill men do, and if they do it too often, they get overly strong, and their hand gets the shape like a kung fu.
Oh, like a wacky hand
Nice.
from all the whacking.
Yeah, it's that crazy military calisthenic exercise where you just stand there and you go.
From the it's all the chaos.
Tossing it.
Yeah, all the chaos.
Robin.
I'll tell you, if I was going to make a soundtrack for a sci-fi movie, this would be real handy.
Yes.
This
Yeah.
thing. Just saying.
Yeah.
It would.
So there's a sound in
You
Star
could-
Trek 1 that was made with like this giant spring, and I made something similar with the FM, and this has that FM model. So yeah, I think it'd be ideal for pulling off.
Oh yeah, they use that sound all
Cool.
over that movie.
Oh, they
Yeah,
did.
that twangy
Yeah.
spring sound.
That guy's performed.
Yeah, I
it
think
was
it's
a special build.
I think it's the V'ger sound was what that was.
Yep.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
the V'ger showed up.
I think I'm one of the only people in the world that really likes that movie. But
Which
I do.
movie?
You might
I mean,
do.
look, Wrath of Khan is definitely the best movie,
Yeah.
arguably, ever made. But I'm just saying, I do like it.
There's a lot to like about it, and I understand why other people don't like it, because it really frustrates what the audience wants in a Star Trek film.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you
Yeah.
that, but I still think it's got a paranoia to it, and the fact that nobody really trusts it intense.
Sure. I just don't like their jammies.
It's just not. Yeah.
Well, unitards were a thing, man.
Yeah,
What
I
do you do?
know.
I mean, even the next generation had to grapple with that.
Yeah,
for the
I remember
first
their little onesies they'd have to wear all the time. Imagine like trying to stretch and being like, "Ow!"
It's a choice on the face of it.
It does. It does. I know there's supposed to be like futuristic coveralls or something
Yeah.
like that, but just
The reason why they demanded it was because the costumes,
yes.
Oh,
and that way it would never wrinkle. But it was just so impractical, and all the actors hated it. And eventually, they just teamed up, and they got them to give them twosies instead of onesies.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
it's a very comfortable feeling. So I'm going to admit something personal about myself, and that is I very briefly wrestled in high school. And the wrestling uniforms you have to watch or wear are like that. They're like sort of one pieces like that. They're unflattering and oddly very.
I don't
uncomfortable.
think that. I would imagine there's something odd about the discomfort in those things. They just look uncomfortable.
No, when your arms lift, your legs lift. Is
Yes.
the thing.
And your testicles
Yeah.
get magically sucked back into your body.
Well, you're wearing a ton of
Yeah.
protection.
You
so.
go this to this really quickly. It's not a good experience.
No,
Yeah.
I've also
No.
worn those.
just for fun.
The same purpose.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, just like prowling around Andrew's house in the evenings. When I put on my unitard and peer in the window.
Yeah, I know. I've seen this shit way too many times. I have it on camera. I'll post it later on.
I look great in the unitard.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
bet you would.
Singlets. I like the term singlets. Singlets.
Singlets.
As
The good
sexy
Woody word.
singlets.
Caribou.
We're doing tests.
Caribou gone.
So you got the cult, as we were saying. This wacky FM synth weirdness chaos theory machine is $65 till the end of the month, and then it bounces up to $129. So get it for half off now if you want it. If you don't, then you can die. And speaking of dying, Eurorack company Synthworks is dead. Synthworks LLC. They were, I should say, a Seattle-based company that focused on Eurorack modules. Big surprise. And they left the market. They're gone. They're done. They couldn't handle it. They just couldn't compete, man. No, not really. Supply chain problems. You know the story. We're going to see a lot of this still. It's going to happen for a while, and the small boutique companies are going to feel it the most.
Yeah, for sure.
boutique companies, I think, are, and I also think that the biggest companies are too, because the biggest, like the smallest, have the least cash in the bank, and the biggest have the structural cost and are operating too much on the float and the cash flow.
Yep.
So when you get to a giant company that's got like 5,000 employees or something like that, you've got like you have to feed the beast. Like if the momentum is not there, it just can't keep up.
Yeah, I know somebody's been waiting 2 years for their new car, which is back because they can't get motion support.
Lord.
It's crazy. The people who've been waiting for a year and a half to buy those 700 new synthesizers that Behringer's announced.
Complain about it every day on the internet.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah. So.
This is going to be a sneaky transition, but it actually wasn't. I actually wonder if that's related to the Osmos and like why it took so long.
Yeah, it took like 3 years from whenever their funding started.
Yep. Speaking of,
which is out. That was. I mean, it was kind of a transition, but I was looking at the thing and thinking, like, I wonder if that's part of the story there too. Is that they had faced some of those supply chain constraints as well.
I would not be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, it's out in the wild. The Osmos is out there. I mean, I don't know if they're like shipping to people or if they're just sending it to the YouTubers.
No, they said late Q2, Q3.
Yeah. Okay, so they're probably still.
They're sending them to backers. They're doing back into retail until they. Yeah, this thing is crazy. Part of me loves it. Part of me. I don't know. I think I have mixed feelings about it. I think that if you use the built-in synthesizer, you're going to get a lot of bang for your buck with this thing. If you're just trying to use it, even like because it's backward compatible with being just a MIDI controller. So I know it can definitely do channel, and but I'm not 100% sure. But it hardly. Seems worth it. I kind of wish that. I'm waiting for MPE and all this kind of stuff to mature, such that people could build a controller like this that would be versatile enough to work on a lot of systems. You know what I mean? Like, so the expression on it sounds gorgeous. I literally have no place for it in my studio because their onboard synth, while interesting, isn't enough for me. How else am I going to put it? Its whole mission in life is to be a controller.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's if we're maybe a desktop producer that doesn't already have a central MIDI DAW rig setup or something, they would build hopefully maybe eventually they'll build like an 88 key or a 61 key version, and it'll be a little bit more versatile. But if you listen to the demos, it's pretty badass in the sense that they're getting to that point where one of the comments that was made about it that someone made was, guitar players, because guitars are so emotive in terms of you can adjust vibrato and the way you bend the strings, that you can tell the style of one guitarist from another based on those subtleties. But with keyboards, it's a little bit more difficult to do that. Beyond sound design, it's the expression is a little bit more limited. That doesn't mean the music it just means the playing styles aren't as immediately identifiable, maybe. And this is sort of a gap eventually. We're getting to this point where synthesizers are faced with them are going to become, I think, cooler. I think this is just a first foray, and it may even fail, unfortunately. But I think in the next 10 years, this is where it's at.
Well, yeah, this is the cutting edge of the next breakthrough that's needed for keyboards. There has always been that the guitar is a more expressive instrument, and it's true. Like, you can tell the difference. Like when anybody else solo, it doesn't sound right. Or same clean solos, it never sounds right because they're so expressive the way they're playing. And keyboards, as long as you get the notes in the right order, generally it's okay. I mean, your velocity is something. But that's one of the reasons why I feel like polyphonic aftertouch is so important. That's one of the areas where you can really make it expressive. Or when you're using a slider, or your wheels, but this is a much more expressive way to go. And I think this is like a cutting edge technology, and if it does take off, somebody else might do it better, and it might be more successful. But these are the people that really broke it.
Yeah. I think Rolly really tried, but I think not having actual keys and being backward compatible with normal keys was a really bad move. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Plus, it really just fucking felt gross.
Yeah. The material is probably going to deteriorate and also get the. What's
they
that,
feel
Jeff?
awful.
Yeah, it feels like like a dried out dead fleshlight.
Terrible.
Yeah.
And covered in lint and fur. Like
Yes,
no
and
matter
dead skin.
every Rolly I've ever seen has been furry. Like coming out of the box, I don't know if they're like born with fur or what the deal is with. Did not.
They should be able to go shaving kits now, Jeff.
Directly out of a dryer's lint trap.
How many have in your house, Jeff?
I've never had one in my house. That's the thing. And I have four cats in my house, but I have never had
All right.
a Rolly in the house. I've only seen them in other places, and they're always furry. It's very weird.
Yeah. And they are working on, there's a few technologies to implement like the kind of expressiveness that we need that might become standards.
Right.
Like MPE, which we talk about a lot, and clap too, right?
Yeah.
So I do think that they're going to put a lot of resources in this, and eventually, it'll be a thing, and then we'll see a reverse back where all people do is play presets and nobody uses any velocity or anything. And then it'll come back again where people miss the ability to be expressive with it. So it'll come and go, but I do think it's an important innovation, and I think it will come, and this is the cutting edge of it.
Yeah.
And I often turn off velocity sensitivity because it's
That's what you're doing.
1.0. This is all we do that matter.
As loud as possible.
Sometimes you need it, sometimes you
Fuck
don't.
your dynamics.
For drums, I don't need it. But when I'm playing like an atmospheric pad, I definitely want that velocity because there's certain notes I want coming in higher and lower, and especially with when the polyphonic aftertouch is usually for me attached to like a filter. And I'm usually, with the left hand, I'm doing something very different than the right hand, and it makes a huge difference, and it's really playable.
It's funny, it's very stylistic because people forget that even giant beasts like the Jupiter 8 was not velocity sensitive.
Yeah.
When people were banging out, giant anthem chord pieces on this thing, and so yeah, I kind of feel like it's all good. It just depends on what you want to do,
Mm-hmm.
But I will say it is tricky, Jeff, in your defense. Like I consider myself a pretty decently proficient keyboardist, but there are moments when I'm very frustrated trying to play something, and because of velocity sensitivity, I'm making notes too quiet or too loud, and I have to go back in the freaking piano roll and fuck around with it to get it where I want. It's annoying,
Yeah, same. Yeah, I think it depends on what I'm doing with it. Like a lot of times I'll turn it off for some things, and some things I want to have that more emotive, for want of a better term, sound that you get from a velocity sensitivity. But otherwise, I'm not very sensitive, especially about my velocity.
I have a belief that all music should sound like, if it doesn't sound like it could play as the soundtrack to a bank robbery, it's bad music. That is a strongly held opinion, and there's a lot that allows for a lot of different styles. Like you could play James Brown.
Mm-hmm.
That would work. You could play Aphex Twin. That'd work. You could play Ministry. That'd be fine.
Hans Zimmer.
You could not play Hans Zimmer because French horns are not acceptable.
But he did the music for the Batman movie that had the big bank robbery with the Joker in it.
No.
But if you can't rob a bank to it, it's not good music. And bank robberies do not need anything other than 0 or 127.
So just to have a play on words, so Hans Zimmer is out, but Jan Hammer is in, is what you're saying.
Yes.
So, I think that I want to come with you when you're doing mixed tests. Like you don't do it in the car. You just literally rob banks with it.
Yeah. Good. That's why I bought a fast car.
Yeah, that works.
I gotta tell you, it's a really, really bad choice. You could do cosplay as a bank robber, but real bank robbing crime doesn't pay. I'm sorry.
It pays really well if you
look at all the crap that Jeff has. I say it does pretty good.
Yeah, well, you could just get bailed out by the government. I guess there's that.
Look at all the crime that pays. Crime definitely pays. Getting caught doing crime does not pay.
Yeah,
you're a politician.
Like
you just get promoted up.
Yeah, just don't get doing the crime, and then you're good.
Yeah, you got to do white collar crime.
Oligarchs again, Jeff. I got to be careful now. Come on.
Yeah, I know, right?
Look, we're gonna go. Look, you can steal this. We're gonna help you do crime. Here's crime to do. Hayes Anderson, isn't there an actor called Rob Banks? I don't know, but I hope so. Here's a crime.
That's Robin's last name. It's Robin Banks.
Oh, you can do this crime for free right now. Here we go. You can go to the audio experiment contacts library. You've got to steal it for free right now.
Oh yeah.
Chicago 7.
You do already have to own the full version of Contact. It can't be just Contact Player.
Yeah, but if you have a full version of Contact, Jeff went and broke into Dark Sky Audio and robbed them of experiments just for you.
Yeah.
Right.
I think this thing sounds great. I went to listen to the demo for most of the stuff on the show where I'm like, la la la, okay, whatever. But I was like listening to the whole thing. I thought it was really pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to get this. You know, I can afford it, and
I'm really surprised. How good the effects on things. They sound real good. Yeah. And a very polished company, man. They do good stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, what's neat about Contact is that it is also a developmental platform, and you can do you can make plugins based on it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
For example, I know Jeff and I both own Damage, and they enable all these things that you don't get in regular Contact, like it's these sequencers and the interface. So it's interesting. So this sounds really good. And it is free. So if you own Contact, you should absolutely, get this. Even if you don't use it, just get it before the website vanishes or they disappear. But yeah.
Go steal it now.
Yeah, you're right though. It started out like years ago, really just sort of sample playback-y, but it's become something so cool. Like the Farlight with the PH is one that I used to use a lot. And yeah, I mean, it's a full-blown app. You're right, Christoph. Mm-hmm. It's not just like sample playbackers.
So yeah, you can really develop a lot on top of it. It's a little bit like, it's almost like Reactor, with a sample bait for Romplers. So.
Yep.
Yeah, it sounds gorgeous. Good find, man.
Oh yeah. So if you own Contact, then steal this for free. If you don't own Contact, then buy it and then steal this for free.
And listen to Jen Hammer while you're doing it.
Yes. Cool. Jen Hammer, is that Jan's sister?
I'm gonna bust out the Marsha. I'm gonna bust out the Miami Vice soundtrack now.
There you go.
Good.
It's weird. I was a huge fan of Jan Hammers in the 80s, and unlike Cool Kids, and I found out just a few years ago that at that time he lived like 5 miles from me.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Wait, where did he live, Chris?
I was probably rude to him in a grocery store.
Probably.
He was in New York.
Yeah, he was in upstate New York.
Weird.
And he was working out of like a farmhouse.
So he didn't live in a warehouse in Miami like I thought he did.
No. Actually, they'd send him VHS, and he would give them like 45 minutes of music or half an hour of music, and they'd say like, "You want more?" And he'd be like, "Yeah, give us more."
Wow.
Cool.
Nice. I think that like Jan Hammer is great, but I think he kind of like overrode like Harold Faltermeyer.
Yep.
Which is a shame because Harold Faltermeyer was great too.
Well, I mean, that was the style of the time. But, pay his bills.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of TV soundtrack composers that we can name. And, it's like a Jan Hammer preset. How many?
Yeah.
All of them.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
If your synth doesn't come with that preset, don't buy the synth. It's like, like don't buy it. It's not a good synth. They can't program that on it
for free.
But,
yeah, it's weird because Michael Mann directed that show, and Michael Mann really did some great movies actually back in the day.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would, and some of my favorite Tangerine Dream work was done in Michael Mann movies. So good stuff.
Yeah, yeah, and he arguably did the greatest heist scene from.
Thief? Is it Thief?
No, it's with Pacino and
Heat.
Nero.
Heat. Yeah,
That's
for sure.
Definitely the greatest bank robbery in cinema.
Oh yeah,
Groundbreaking, and it's, you know, now there's a lot of action sequences that live up to that, but at the time, nothing lived up to it. It really pushed the envelope quite a bit.
Yeah, for sure.
But speaking of stealing stuff for free, getting stuff for free, there's the glitch effects plugin.
Yeah. Yes, the Two Rule Tuglicento. Destroyed that one, I'm sure. Tuglicento? Something like that. You know what I'm saying. This is a free glitch multi-effects processor plugin. And it's like a multi... Goodness. You okay?
Yeah, sorry.
Do we need to call 911, or are you just like hitting that pipe too hard?
No and yes.
Okay, good. You're using that video freeze to your advantage. So this is like a multi-lane effects processor that you can use to create these crazy glitch effects. And this is the new version of it that they just released, version 3. And they added some more crazy shit to it, basically. There's a new distortion rack in this thing. There's some, like, they could do automation of the effects and stuff like that as well. And it's just it's nuts. I downloaded it the other day and just like fired it up for a little bit, and my head exploded. It was fun.
Yeah, it's funny. It's good to stutter at it, and it's free.
Yeah, and stutter is a pain in the ass to use, and this one's actually not.
Yeah, if you don't want to use the presets and modify them, good luck with stutter edit. But yeah. Also, my favorite one was by Audio Damage. They've decommissioned. It was called Automaton.
Yeah,
I used it on the first couple of Subsoma releases, and I friggin' love it. You can still download it for free. I think they put it in their legacy download.
Mm-hmm.
But it was so cool. The lanes of stutter automation was just amazing. It was great.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, this thing is really killer. I like that people are still talking about Harold Faltermeyer in the chat.
I mean, it's great.
Harold Faltermeyer?
So Anarchy and Bedrock, I think it is. Yeah, I think there was like, if I'm not mistaken, there's a bass sound that I think sounds like a Moog, but I could be wrong about that one. I'm doing that just by the sound. I've never looked that part up, but I think the brass was the JX3P. The lead is the Jupiter 8, if I'm not mistaken, and there's like that kind of was like a marimba-y sound in there. It's one of the DX7 presets.
I was gonna say it's got to be a DX. It's got to
actually like one of the presets off the original ROM of the DX7.
There you go. Plus, Harold Faltermeyer was responsible for producing the best Pet Shop Boys album ever made.
Oh yeah.
Yes, Behavior was produced by Harold Faltermeyer.
I like the song Axel F, but I think I've heard it so much that I'm just like kind of not. It's I've heard too much.
Understandable.
It's so overstated. It's welcome.
Yes. How produced did he produce the album? Well, he produced it as much as any producer does. You can kind of hear him a little bit on there. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, produced as in like, you know, the Pet Shop Boys wrote songs and came to him and said, make this sound better, and so he did. you can go and listen to the album and kind of get an idea about how different it's because it does sound different than a lot of the other Pet Shop Boys albums, especially of that time.
Yeah, that's something that really varies per band. Like Flood was for being a more transparent producer, whereas my favorite producer, Adrian Sherwood, everything he does sounds like Adrian Sherwood produced.
Right. It's like Trevor Horn.
He's the reason why I like music. So that's great for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like Trevor Horn, who's anything but transparent, who basically like wrote the, oh, Frankie Goes to Hollywood went to bed. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite their album now. That kind of.
The whole thing. Right.
Or AC or Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Quincy Jones was like that too. There's this interview that I saw with Quincy Jones. I don't remember when it was, but it's he's talking about producing Michael Jackson, and like Michael Jackson's asking him to like change parts of the song. And he's like, no, I won't do it. He's just like refuses. He's like, no, I'm not changing that part of the song. Go record your part of the song. I'm not changing anything for you. Go record your part.
Wow.
It's very funny. The interviews with Quincy Jones are a trip.
Yeah.
They really are great. That's why I discovered, which I think I've talked about on the show before, was that and actually Parliament did stuff like this before. They would lay layers of Collins bass on top of the minimum Bernie Worrell, and they sort of like, I think they compress them on a bus together to get this just bass attack monster. But yeah, Quincy Jones would do this thing where he really liked the squishy resonance of the Moog, but he hated that the ladder filter lost the bass when you put the resonance up. So he would lay like a foundational bass track and then put the squelchy one on top. Basically the same patch, so it sounded like it was one sound.
Oh yeah. Quincy Jones is kind of fucking amazing. I mean, he did so much cool shit as far as like his production and stuff like that. I was just talking about that today because Smooth Criminal was stuck in my head, and now it's stuck in yours as well because you hear the bass line right now.
No, that bass line is so badass, though.
It is. It sounds so good.
Or not, it's a badass bass line.
I know. It just makes me want to hold onto my hat and tilt funny. I am done.
Hold on to your cat? Is that what you said?
You heard me. Meow. Oh my!
Big cat and a piss bad in that other video. I don't know. I get all mixed up.
Right.
We're gonna get in trouble here. We should go. There's a new mixer.
Yep.
I've heard of them.
I heard about this.
This thing is
This is a new mixer from Tascam. Sonic View. These things are beautiful, and they don't have a price, which means they're not cheap.
They do have a price.
Oh.
I asked Tascam, and I thought I had paid. Well, I tried to paste this in our news, but I did a shit job of pasting it. So the big one is $7,000,
Holy shit!
and the small one is $6,000. And so these are not inexpensive. They are not meant to be like budget things. These are either like for a studio, for a live, or for like a pretty prosumer level like home studio. I was looking at the specs of these. They stack up pretty comparably to the Allen and Heath Avantis line. I don't know. So the Avantis line, you can run VSTs on them. I don't know if you can do these. It's not super clear, but the specs on these things are ludicrous.
I see this.
So
I see.
What's that?
It's
the specs are like truly crazy. So they have because the digital mixer, you go in analog, it gets converted to digital, and then to hear it again, it comes back out as analog. So you've got to go AD and then DA again. Whatever process happens on the internal, and the total round trip on is under a half millisecond.
Jesus.
At full load, all the way from analog to analog, which is ludicrous. It's because it's an FPGA-based system, which just handled the turnaround super fast, so it does that. But it's also let them do. They have a 32 in, 32 out. I've lost my brain. Interface on them that runs 32 in out at 32-bit 96K with a 54-bit floating point, and like 32-bit floating point is really high for something like that, and 54 is more than.
So I mean, is it? You're saying pre-show about this, but it basically doubles as a mixer and a audio interface, right? I mean.
There have been complaints from there's been a weird like not merging of consoles. Like there have been live consoles and then there have been studio consoles, and the merging of them has like for some reason like not really ever happened very effectively. And the literature and the video and everything that they've put out about this is basically saying like finally your was not good in a studio. Like it's very good at live. It is not good in a studio. So
God, the 16 XP looks very attractive for a home studio.
Yeah, right.
It's like the difference when you get the extra large popcorn compared to the large. Yeah.
the Model 24 and 12 and 16 are if you want sort of like the less expensive version of something like this, more like Porta Studio price, the Model series stuff from Tascam is good. And I mean that's a 4824 recording, and that they work as like the Model 24 is like a 20 out interface as well as SD recorder. Like it's a good deal.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Model 16 and the Model 24 right now. Yeah.
The 12 and 16 are digital. The 24 is analog. That's a primary difference. And weirdly, like there's other weird differences too. The 12 is also a DAW controller.
It's interesting because they consider this, they list this under their audio interfaces,
Right.
not under their mixers.
So
Interesting. It's kind of ugly.
one?
I'm not gonna lie, but I bet it's some.
the
Sounds
model
great.
stuff or the new one?
I'm looking at the Model 24.
Yeah, I
the
mean
old
they
one.
look really old school. Like you got to be into the retro look to it, but you can take off the end cheeks on it. Do come off if you don't want it to have the wood look.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'd be mixing yacht rock albums on this thing, but other than that, it's
Make some yacht rock albums. The world needs more yacht rock.
Yeah, we need some Justin style yacht rock at that.
Kenny Loggins won't return my calls anymore, and he's been ghosting me on social media.
I will make yacht rock with you right now. Let's go.
Get in the car, loser. We're making yacht rock.
Right now.
All
This
right.
is a yacht.
I got Michael McDonald on speed dial, so we can.
Perfect.
We got a singer lined up. It'd be fine.
I can't wait for this. I'll call Christopher Cross immediately.
remember that thing you used to watch, Andrew? We used to watch that.
Yep.
That thing was
Put
so
the band back
great.
together.
Yeah.
Okay, well, anyway, there's that. It's cool.
Yes.
It'll be out soon.
It
There's
is
a
cool.
thing that's much better priced than that for anybody. I stole this one for you all, too. It's not new, but I only just found out about it, so it's new. Because it's new to me. And I downloaded it, and it's cool. And this is actually probably like a pretty neat thing for streamers, too, because I think I haven't tried it in OBS, but I bet you could do it in OBS. I'm not sure, because it works in some interesting ways. So this is a free open source, and I learned about this from Venus Theory. If Venus Theory likes it, I think it's probably good. I haven't gone like deep on it yet, but I downloaded it. I played with it a little bit. It's cool. It's easy to use, easy to get underneath the hood. But it is a mastering plugin, and essentially by mastering, what it is compression and loudness. It's not a mastering. It is not a mastering plugin like Isotope.
Mm-hmm.
Like it does some of those things. I haven't gotten like deep enough into all the features of it to speak authoritatively on it, but it's cool and it's free.
Yeah.
I stole it for you. Please go get it from GitHub.
From your secret GitHub thieving spot.
Well, I know we only have 13 minutes left, but
23.
or no, we have 23 minutes.
minutes.
Glasses are smudged in just the wrong place. I can't see my time. But honestly, yeah, I mean, this brings up a lot of points about like what's going on with AI. I know that's very, very poignant, right? But I think that these sort of mastering services are interesting, and there's mixing ones, obviously, to degree there are people behind them. What degree they're sort of machine learning driven is kind of interesting. Yeah, it's just very curious. I mean, I mean, obviously, I've used, Isotope tools to do some of this stuff, so I can't talk. But it's just interesting. Like, I mean, Ozone is something that's still like, it's probably got a lot of that sort of intelligence, but it's still basically human driven. But I mean, because the thing is with mastering, it's one of those arcane arts I don't completely understand. Obviously, I mean, I don't do it much. It seems like just like with mixing, there's artistic interpretation kind of going on, and and how you decide that's going to work is when you're using services or plugins is kind of interesting to me.
I like the idea of just dumping this thing into OBS and just using this for for that purpose. I think that'd be handy as hell.
Yep.
Oh, for podcasting, it makes perfect sense. Yeah, sure.
Do y'all want to, like, does anybody here? Well, I bet we have listeners who don't. So all this mastering is a bit of an arcane art, but also it has a really very specific reference point. So the reference point in the original use of mastering was you would go and you would record your album, and then it would either cut to a wax cylinder or it was aiming for a record. The end point of this thing was it was going to a record. And the point of mastering was to ensure that the needle wouldn't skip in the group. And so the mastering engineer's job was specifically to make sure that your sound played back at good fidelity, like, and sounded good and was balanced well and produced adequate loudness, but also it wasn't the needle out of the groove.
Right.
And so that was a very specific, like, highly technical skill set, because you had to take the readings, because like needles would bounce, they have a certain amount of weight on them, whatever, like pressing down the grooves needs to behave in a certain way. That was pretty technical. Today, mastering is much less technical. There are some arbitrary standards that these streaming services have set, like this ridiculous -14 LUFS standard it's stupid, and it's too quiet. It's dumb and it's too quiet. CDs are at -9, but it's a little bit of like making sure that you maintain goods at that, but like a lot of it today is actually just like looking at it and be like, hey, does this have weird phase cancellation? Do I need to get in there and like solve these weird phase cancellation issues or these weird comb filtering issues that are causing undesirable artifacts when I play things in mono? But a lot of it is very art today.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which is, I'm not that to disparage it, to be clear. Like
I think it's been, you're right, it's been made much more complicated by the different people are listening to things. But but there's way more mono listening because of these, Bluetooth speakers, and then so it's been so many people using earpods or over the ear headphones. It's just like it's just like mixing, because it's like in the sense that you have to make it volume and otherwise desirable for those listening formats. And mixing is even more so that, and it's so painful. And I've used a couple plugins to get there, and the tricks you have to figure out to make things sound good it's you start to figure it out. It's like, oh, okay, I have to pretend like this is where the bass is, because when someone's listening on a stupid speaker, this is what it's going to sound like. Infuriatingly difficult and unfun, and better left to the professionals, or the plugins or whatever. The robot. Yeah.
The robot. All right. Well, what's next? We don't want clap for apricots.
Clap for apricot. Everybody, clap for apricots. 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 All right, we're done.
Yeah, they need to change the name of that. It's terrible.
They should call it
Apricot
apricots, obviously.
Yeah, so Apricot's a free subtractive synthesizer. It's been out for Windows for a while, but now it's available for Mac and Windows too. And the fancy thing about it is that it supports clap, which would be UHEI and Bitwig are working for a different standard besides VST, which is a proprietary format, and everybody's beholden to Steinberg for it. And so this is like there's not a lot of things going for it, some UHEI plugins and some Bitwig, but so this is free, and so if you're looking for, even if you're not going to use clap, just having more free stuff. So just thought if anybody was interested, this is something to look into.
There we go. And it doesn't cost anything, which is a good price. I did notice that the Master Me plugin also comes in clap as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that when I said they have to change the name, that's what I meant, not apricot, because that's just terrible. For those of you across the pond, you know exactly why it's terrible.
No, not even across the pond. I think locally a lot of people know why the clap is terrible.
Yeah, they just didn't think that through.
Or they did.
Or they just thought it was fucking hilarious to do it like that.
That could be.
I suppose.
Or like, somebody did this to get out of trouble. Said you got the clap. Oh no, it's our new thing. It's not that, honey. It's
this new plugin thing. Well, originally the original thing was going to be called chlamydia, wasn't it?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Do not collect $200. Wow.
It's a shame that they picked such a nice sounding word for that.
I know, right?
It's got to.
Those clapper commercials,
right?
Were good fun, right? So
didn't work. Well, so yeah, that's the thing.
So speaking of,
so your free clap. synthesizer. The other thing in here is another free. We are just robbing people left and right here.
As a poor person, I'm posting a lot of things that are
Indeed.
free.
And this is a free compressor for Mac and OS. And this is Linda Audio, and it's called Sonic Crusher.
Yeah.
So it doesn't.
It'll go from gentle to extreme. It's fancy. It's free. What else do you want me to say?
Right? It's not trying to.
Yeah, I listened to the demo of this.
It's not. It's not.
It does what it says on the
It's
tin.
not fancy. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not trying to be anything other than what it is, which is just a, squishy compressor.
Yeah, I mean, I think it can do sidechain.
Yep.
And, it does automatic gain compensation, which is important.
Yeah, it's got a lot of fancy features, and it costs you nothing.
Yeah.
Try it.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
The thing about compressors is the sound,
Mhm.
and some get really beloved, and others, like people are like, it's all right, but it's not as good as this. So it's another one to try, and it might be the key to your sound.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just shocked and surprised when you find all this free share. It's pretty cool. You could totally badass all of the post-production work on
Oh, absolutely. There's a guy who just who literally does some YouTube videos of if you can pay for this stuff where you can hear some free versions of this kind of crap. And it's a varying quality, but it's cool.
Yeah. I mean, especially if you have a computer that's less than 15 years old, you can definitely do everything. There's a Linux Studio, and it really comes with sequencers, soft samples. So yeah, it's there. That's why it's never been a better time.
Yep. And with that, that's the end of our show forever.
What'd you say?
With that, that's the end of our show forever because Krzysztof just gave away the secret that you can do this all for free. So we can't sell you anything anymore.
We don't get it. What do we care?
Yeah, that's right. Fuck the man.
Yeah.
But there's an upside to it. A lot of people like that stuff.
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's nice that you can do things, but also some stuff like that makes that sound just gets all my arms to go up.
And that's what we really want in the world.
Yeah.
That and in a thinner boom box.
Yep. So what I found interesting about this Raspberry Pi case.
This thing is so good.
This guy who makes this is insane.
Yeah. Yo, absolutely.
Go Brand. And he built a boom box that is like cardboard thin with piezo speakers and all this kind of crazy stuff.
Yeah, so that's got to sound
I'm sure it doesn't sound good at all, but it looks cool.
It does. It looks like a trapper. It looks like a trapper Frank design.
That's what makes it look cool. Shut up.
No, it's good. I'm crazy.
And I like that you can put the cassette on top of the thing, and I think the cassette might be thicker than the actual device itself.
I think so.
Yeah. I remember they were lethal weapons for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely a good 3 to 4 hit points
absolutely.
of damage.
Yeah, I think my mom had a Panasonic that was killer.
So I need to apologize to the listening audience out there. For whatever reason, Skype will just randomly pick whatever audio channels it feels like using in OBS and broadcast to it. So I have to go through and unmute and remute shit left and right during tonight's presentation because everybody on Skype will suddenly be on all 4 channels at the same time and sound like an echo chamber, and then they'll all disappear, and then the next thing you know, I'm the only person that anyone can hear. So this show tonight has been a technical nightmare.
Skype's trying to keep us down.
Yeah, pretty much.
Skype or
but maybe
OBS.
the combination of the two. Maybe we need to do something better than this. Maybe instead of using Skype, we should just
Maybe
fly
we
you all
should,
in.
Maybe we should sing Commodore 64.
We just make. Actually, I'm just gonna like have you all call on my phone. I'm just gonna hold it to the microphone and just do that. And,
So yeah, I had the Apple IIe instead of the Commodore 64, and I just thought it was so great. But on paper, the Commodore 64 was a lot better. And it supported sprites, and that I could have done so much more with programming if I had access to sprites. And also, it had a SID chip.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. And as we know, like the SID chip later got repurposed into the Electron SID station. And now there's the mini SID, which is using nano swing SIDs to recreate the sound of the classic 64 SID chip.
So cool.
Yep. And it definitely sounds like that video game sound. I don't know if it's capable of doing the exploits that the SID station did, which I think is what made the SID station special, is that the SID station enabled to do the weird programming of the Commodore. The people writing for the Commodore figured, hey, if we do this thing it's not supposed to, it makes this sound, which is kind of cool. And so they could do much more than it was originally designed to do, and this got exploited a lot. And I don't know if the Swan SID support that. But if you're, an 8-bit musician, well, here's another tool for you.
Absolutely.
And you learn about tangents. Nobody else is talking about this. They're trying to keep it down, but not us. We're the only ones who trust.
We're the only show on the internet. Yeah,
and we're not selling anything.
We're not making money.
Right now, like Skype's trying to keep us down. OBS is keeping down. We won't be stopped. We won't be bargained with.
Right.
And if no one came back from the future to stop you, then what you're doing is wrong.
So go outside without those pants on. You're fine. And if anyone says something, tell them I said you could wear no pants outside.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Because we love you, and we love you even more when you're not wearing pants.
We do. I think that this thing looks gorgeous. It's great.
Yes. The Swin SID. I love that it's called the Swin SID. It makes me so happy.
Yeah, it's just this. It's lovely. I mean, every time I hear a game, on a real Commodore 64, and I'm like, that SID really was a magical chip. It really did sound great. And
Justin, tell everybody who made the SID chip.
Who actually? You mean outside
Sid Hearsay
Commodore?
made the SID chip.
Oh, the guys from Insonic. Yeah, it was the guys from Insonic, right?
Oh,
yes, it was.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't know we were doing the annual quiz, Christoph. I apologize.
No, I knew you knew that, and
no,
and I know that, and I wanted to toss it to you because you've had more Insonics than I have.
Yeah, no.
All I have is the SPA, and I used to use the ASR10, but you had the EPS 16.
Yeah,
Plus.
yeah, I did. I had the EQ1 for a hot minute too. I entered it too.
And I still haven't extracted.
Yeah, the VFX was an interesting one too. That was like their sort of Profit VS thing that they had there. Yeah, I love Insonic. I absolutely love them. I love that those guys at Centaur spend their entire life refurbishing them. But they're actually pretty sturdy, all things considered, compared to my other vintage gear. I turn on my SR10 and it's like, hi, I'm ready to roll. Like I turn on some of that other shit. And
I hate you. Please kill me. So the MIDI SID is currently out of stock, but it usually goes for $190 the person who makes it is Sheila Dixon, and she sells them on Etsy.
That's so cool. Go Sheila.
Yep. You can also buy it on Tyndall.
And she also makes a.
They've taken two SID chips and strapped them together, I guess, right? Can you even get the SID station anymore? I've every now and then I look for, but I don't see them going.
They couldn't reliably source the chips anymore.
They'd moved on to building model samples, and so they.
Well, sure.
They need to invest their money on the battery handle explosion issue. So.
Battery handle explosion fiasco.
That was pretty.
2021.
Yeah, that was.
I forgot about that thing.
Yeah,
it was good.
Yeah,
They
I
should do
think
it
so.
again.
So I'm seeing that the Sid Station is going for like $1,650 right now on Reverb. Although there's an ultra rare one called the Golden Child that's going for $6,000. Yep. But you can get a model samples
cool,
handle for $5, and it comes pre-exploded.
You know, if we've learned anything about technology, it's that lithium-ion batteries like to catch up.
Things like to explode. Chemical reactions are a thing, and
there goes when some laptop or device doesn't, have a power explosion.
It's an excellent way to get them from gate checking your carry-on luggage. If you just tell them there's lithium ion in there, then they can't.
Oh, interesting.
Because it's illegal to put it into the cargo hold of a plane because they just burst into flames sometimes.
Yeah.
I've definitely flown many, many times, and I have seen people say stuff like, okay, take it out and hold it.
Yeah.
I have seen that happen too, where people are saying like, you can't gate check it, it's got a thing. And they're like, cool, you can carry that.
Yeah.
There's your second item. Shut the fuck up.
That's really carrying like 7 things. Give me back and shove all the things in there.
Come on, I got 50 pounds of lithium-ion batteries in this bag.
It's like it's nothing but batteries.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of items, laptops and phones now that you can't remove the lithium ion.
Yeah.
You just have to wear them.
You got to carry the whole item to the point where it's that's the carry-on that you're trying to get rid of.
So we should make like a bodysuit, like a David Byrne oversized suit.
That sounds sexy as hell.
Yeah.
You're warm
Yep.
for the rest of your life.
You're set.
Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
That's everything.
Well, you can absorb the rest of the irritating bad choice
There you go.
malfunctions. Anyway.
That's the news. We're done. We did it.
We did it.
We once again sacrificed our lives for you, Tangents fans, who don't wear pants anymore. You'll know you're...
We spent half the show.
I know, right? We know that you're a Tangents fan if you don't wear pants. That's how you show. So if you don't, anyone who's not wearing pants is a Tangents fan.
The thing that you don't know is we can.
Yes, we can see. We see you. We know you. We support you. We don't wear pants either.
And, like, not just during tangents.
All I'm wearing right now is a dickie.
Yeah.
So.
And a singlet.
and a spandex singlet.
Turtleneck and singlet. That's a new
turtleneck and a singlet.
What was that? There was that album by the Lonely Island called Turtleneck and Chain. Turtleneck and Singlet.
That's it.
Is the
Perfect
sequel.
To quote Marlon Brando, the horror. The horror.
Horror. All right. Let's get the hell out of here. We're actually a few minutes early. It makes up for all the times we were late. Enjoy your party socks, Anarchy, Ben Bedrock. We are going to raid over to David01. Get ready to have your brain exploded by this character. He's really cool. Thank you all for watching. As always, we appreciate you being on here. And we are creating the raid. And we might be waving. We might not. You can't tell because most of the video is frozen. Thanks for dealing with us through these technical difficulties, because that was a bunch of bullshit, wasn't it? All right, everybody. Enjoy your singlets. Hugs and kisses.
See you soon.